Hey guys, welcome to my channel Hairliciously. It's been a few days since I was able to post a video. My apologies for that. I know that on YouTube, there's not a lot of YouTubers who put up videos on hair loss topics, just hair loss tips in general, and even for those who actually document the progress, they kind of do it halfway through and then end up stopping. Now, I don't want to do that because I want to walk this walk with you guys from start to finish, and I really want to equip you guys with everything that I know so that I can help you guys out. Are looking for different types of hair loss treatments, and if you guys eventually end up looking for a hair transplant doctor, I want to make sure that you guys have all the information before you guys go and get a consultation and even a procedure. In today's video, I wanted to talk about one of the most commonly asked questions that I've been getting from my viewers on a weekly basis, and that is the topic of figuring out when the best and ideal time or age to get a hair transplant is. There's a lot of doctors who feel that you should wait until your 30s or even your 40s before getting a hair transplant. On the flip side, there's doctors who feel that it might be appropriate to get one in your 20s. The truth is, the answer really depends on each person and his or her hair loss history. If you guys have been following my journey, I had my hair transplant last November, November of 2016, at the young age of 28. I started seeing my hairline and my temporal points recede during my college years, so this was back in 2006. But I was lucky enough where I didn't really have that severe form of hair loss. Family history, they don't really have a severe form of hair loss either. My dad is probably a Norwood 4, maybe a Norwood 3.5. My mom's side, there's really not that many people who are balding. But family history of hair loss is very important to understand the pattern of baldness that is likely to affect an individual. And in my case, like I said, I wasn't seeing any severe forms of hair loss running on both my maternal and paternal sides. For most people, hair loss is going to be gradual over the years, meaning you're not going to go from a Norwood 3 to a Norwood 6 overnight. However, there are always exceptions. I actually had a college buddy who had a full set of hair. He was Indian. In my experience from meeting Indian people, they have very nice hair, a full set of hair at a young age, but once they start hitting their 40s and 50s, they pretty much end up receding like crazy. So I met him in freshman year. He had a full set of hair. We graduated college 2010. I met up with him 5 years later. I was so shocked because he just lost all of his hair. He just went from a Norwood 1, with a full set of hair, low hairline, to a Norwood 7, so this whole part was gone. I also have another friend who was a Norwood 5 by the age of 30, and you really haven't had much hair loss 15 years later. Like I said, these examples are the exception. People don't really suffer from hair loss that drastically over a span of 5 years. When it comes to hair loss, it's very unpredictable and it can strike at any age, any time. And so this is why there's no best or ideal age to get a hair transplant. But what really matters is the fact that you really assess your current hair loss and use your family history to get somewhat of an answer of what to expect in the future. This always isn't really accurate, but it can serve as a good guideline to see where you might end up. You also want to work with a good doctor to assess your donor area and to see how much hair you have, because donor hair is finite. You're going to end up running out of hair. The moment that you exhaust all of it, you really have nothing to defend yourself once you start to bald even further. If you do have a lot of body hair, you might be able to use that as a substitute for scalp hair. But scalp hair and body hair is not the same, and they might have different life cycles, and body hair might also not be resistant to DHT like the back of the scalp. This normally is for most people, and so even if you do use body hair, you might end up losing that. You really want to be very conservative when it comes to using your donor hair. Hair loss at a young age, especially if you're in your late teens to early 20s, can be very devastating to your self-esteem. The way that people look at you when it comes to trying to gaming with girls. If you don't have hair at a young age, you might be the subject of ridicule. They might pick on you. A lot of people who are suffering from hair loss at a young age tend to function on emotion rather than thinking logically. If you are suffering from moderate to severe form of hair loss at a young age, chances are, unfortunately, that you're going to suffer from further hair loss as you continue to age. If you do decide to pull the trigger and get a hair transplant in your early 20s, make sure you really know what you're getting into. You might end up depleting all of your donor zone if you try to achieve a very aggressive hairline, since you're not going to have anything left to cover for further hair loss. The younger you are, the more conservative you want to be when it comes to achieving your hairline. And also the same thing with density, because these are things that you can always go back and add on to. But if you end up approaching an aggressive hairline at an early age and you end up losing a lot of hair, then you're going to be left with pretty much just a strip of hair in the front and then just receding with nothing left to cover because you've depleted all of your donor hair. And also keep in mind that if you're balding at the vertex at a very young age, meaning the back of your scalp right here, you want to be very, very, very conservative when it comes to getting a hair transplant. Because people who end up losing their hair in the vertex at a young age, from what I've seen, end up suffering from moderate to severe form of hair loss later down the road. Take a good look at your dad's hair, your uncle's hair, and ask and see what stage of hair loss that they were at when they were your age, to give you a better gauge of what to expect in the future. If your dad was a Norwood 7, you want to make sure that you take that into consideration before trying to dense pack your frontal hairline. Now, a good doctor is not going to push you into getting a hair transplant, but rather he or she is going to want you to wait as long as they can, because they know that hair loss is progressive and it's going to require more than one surgery. Hair loss medication is a must, whether it's minoxidil, finasteride, or for those who are even taking dutasteride. This is very important before and even after a hair transplant, because you want to keep every last strand that you have right now. It's no guarantee that these medications are going to work in the long term, but you want to use everything that you have to keep every last strand of hair. Not taking any hair loss medications such as, like I said, minoxidil or finasteride defeats the purpose of getting a hair transplant, because you're going to continue to lose hair no matter what. Even people that are not balding, as you age, you're going to start to lose more hair. It's just a natural process when you start aging. If you don't do anything about it by being proactive, by taking medication, you're just going to end up having to do more procedures later down the road, and you're going to end up wasting precious donor hair. So in conclusion, I know that I really haven't answered the question of when the best age to get a hair transplant is, but if I had to give you guys a number, I would say wait until you're at least 30 years of age if you can. The truth is, nobody knows, and your doctor who claims that they know are going to be liars. Nobody knows when you're going to suffer from hair loss. You might lose hair at 18, you might end up losing hair at 45. It's just very unpredictable. The reason why I say wait until at least your 30s is because many people tend to have somewhat of a stabilized hair loss by the time that they hit their 30s. So I would try to wait until then before getting one done. And also try hair loss medications first before getting a hair transplant. Many people have had great results using minoxidil, derma rolling, finasteride, and even dutasteride, while some people even have regrown lost hair. In my opinion, surgery should never be the first option, especially in young people suffering from hair loss. I hope this video has been helpful for those who are wondering if they should be getting a hair transplant at a certain age. It's never really an easy decision when it comes to hair loss, but by planning ahead and working with a good reputable doctor and taking the right hair loss medication, you can somewhat prepare yourself for what to expect in the future when it comes to hair loss. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video has been somewhat helpful. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't done so. And I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.